Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Man at YouTube with another model video. Today we'll be unboxing, reviewing and testing the 138 Type single action siphon feed airbrush. Sometimes labelled with Badger, most of the time generic. BT Shenzhen manufactures from China in a variety of boxings and brands. First time I've encountered it was the mid-90s and is still made and found from $15 to $50. The box contains a air pen looking plastic bodied brush with a brass or steel nozzle and air valve, plastic pipette, not solvent resistant, two 30ml 1 ounce glass jars with plastic lid and Teflon O-ring, PTFE hose and metal connector. About a meter of 5mm rubber air hose with an adapter to 1/4 inch, very outdated and a massive issue which you'll see later. A compressed air aerosol can adapter with screw regulator. Formerly a popular and affordable way to airbrush. Connect the hose to the airbrush and open the valve. Due to the consumable nature and the availability and prices of hobby air compressors dropping, these became obsolete, yet weirdly enough still available. A 2-page black and white instruction sheet in English with hand-drawn vintage illustrations, almost purely containing the parts breakdown and parts list, and pictorial visual instructions how to apply the adapter to the can, the hose, and adjusting the nozzle for spray patterns. The airbrush is incredibly simple and easy to break down. Nothing can be accessed regarding the air, but the handle can be removed and has no purpose. The nozzle U-clip pinches everything together into the housing. It's pried out and put away for safekeeping. Loosening the assembly that keeps the tip in line with the air output. We turn the nozzle over the needle spike while pulling it back until it's gone all the way through, leaving it in 2 parts. There is not a lot to it, though each part is essential and can't be lost. The lot is made out of brass, which is robust but can wear out over time. They also do not really suffer from bent needles or split nozzles. It will wear out where it will have less spray control. However, it will die after the O-ring has perished and you cannot use it any further. Assembly is very straightforward and in reverse by feeding the spike through. Pull back and feed in the nozzle half. Push tight forward and apply the U-clip in. Finally, screwing it down mostly but not completely, blocking airflow. Ideally it should look like that with the cutout facing the unit, little thread gap and the nozzle pointing into the air output. Tragically and sadly, out of the box this does not fit on a standard 1/8 thread compressor and only suitable for older models or anything equipped for Badger. I've decided to purchase 2 adapters for 2 different methods in attaching it to a compressor. A Badger Pache Aztec adapter set and a 1/8 female to 1/4 female adapter. Honestly, with this little collection you can make almost anything work. The preferred method, the Badger attachment fit quite smoothly and easily, being the right thread, and taken to the 1/8 hose no drama. The 1/4 to 1/8 inch adapter was also not a drama, however it is the weaker link, being a poorer material of rubber to braided hose. I'm still using the same hose from 2005. As it's in box, we'll test the rubber hose on the AS18 Fenger compressor, most common model available. For the paint test, we'll be thinning a mediocre lacquer hobby paint with equal parts automotive lacquer thinner in its own siphon jar, which is incredibly convenient, and seat it right into the back of the nozzle. Set at the max pressure of around 20 psi. Initially no flow, opening the nozzle fully to paint coming out finally. The pressing of the air, the paint was not siphoning or flowing correctly. The only control the single action has is pushing the button down and getting maximum amount of air. There's no gradient or sensitivity, trigger action, anything like that. And flow was only possible with the nozzle completely open. Thinned the paint even further in case that it was a skill issue, and continue to struggle with no reliability or a constant and easy output, regardless of adjustments, settings, or the position of the jar, as if you depress the level of the air output too high or too low at a outside 90-degree axis, it won't be able to suck in any paint, but it just wasn't coming out, completely airlocked inside of the jar. Upon fault finding, on the right hand side of the airbrush there was an air leak coming out of the valve, noticeable enough to blow this tissue paper and constantly draining my compressor, not allowing the auto stop to engage. I believe the issue was a faulty unit that was outside of my control. I noticed the needle nozzle assembly was exactly the same as my old Citadel airbrush, released by Games Workshop around the 2000s and primarily marketed for Warhammer and wargaming hobbyists, which I enjoyed thoroughly and cut my teeth and learned how to airbrush with. Pulling my old one apart, which I can't use anymore for two reasons. One, I lost the siphon bottle. Sadly, the Type 138 does not fit. Typical Games Workshop wanting to buy their stuff only. Secondary, the O-ring has long perished. However, the new needle nozzle assembly fits and is roughly the same dimensions, covering the air output. Salvaging this video and airbrush. Amazingly, the air valve is also the same 5mm. It takes air and functions as intended. Pistol grip is very comfortable. Frustratingly, the flow issue is exactly the same and I'm just not getting any paint out until I aim the gun far too close and immediately expel a lot of the paint, which tipped me off that it may not necessarily be a airflow issue with the previous Type 138 brush, but within the nozzle all the way to the siphon bottle, causing a airlock and locking the liquids in, reminding me of an old issue I used to have with the Citadel airbrush, that the air vent would get clogged with primer. This did not have one and proceeded to drill it out immediately. Another issue, the U-clip kept sliding out, so I tied it in with a piece of wire, giving a lot more stability. Suddenly, nostalgia hits and I'm getting the same flow as I used to back in the day with this airbrush, and it's back alive and I'm very happy. I struggled with airbrush tutorials and learning back in the day. My main paint was the Citadel water-based acrylics, and added it to a Heising style airbrush that I got from my 18th birthday, Sparmax DH103. Dumped slightly thinned paint in it, clogged immediately, cleaned it, and didn't look or touch it for 2 years. Eventually purchasing this after seeing how easy it was to set up, clean, and operate on a YouTube video. It doesn't have the most amazing gradient control or spray pattern, but it's extremely quick to set up, very smooth, very consistent, even with a completely different needle, nozzle, and bottle. It won't do fine lines, gradients, or thin dust coats, but it will put in a very nice heavy wet coat to color in or prime a surface. Nutting it out and making it work, I swapped back to the Type 138 and got the exact same results as the Citadel gun. However, the gun is far more comfortable to hold in the hand, and nostalgia might be biased, but I enjoy it far more. Be mindful, it does drink paint quite quickly, and with poor workmanship, that O-ring and other elements will die quicker than a Heising alloy build, but I reckon we could find an O-ring that could swap around and slide over the needle. I would not use branded high quality hobby paint, but solidly use it with cheaper household enamel or automotive paint, especially those ones that clog quite easy with lots of fillers and issues, or filler primer even. Quite perfect for massive surfaces, and we'll be deploying it for 3D prints. And the biggest win for me, it is incredibly quick and easy to clean up and change colors. A simple dismantle, wipe down, drain the paint out of the jar, wipe, fill with thinner, spray out. You could speed run this easily under a minute to 30 seconds. I like to tip the airbrush face down and apply thinner direct into the nozzle rather than siphoning anything out of the jar to save medium and solvents. Even though this has fallen out of vogue, you do see it all sorts of sale platforms and brands still carrying it in the art, hobby and professional spaces. Straight off the bat, this is not a good general purpose airbrush or particularly useful to a lot of people. It has quality issues. It will not work straight out of the box. It will require modification, but this has a flow and a wide surface spray like a rattle can. Secondary, it can be junked to repair the Citadel airbrush, which I like so much more. I'll leave this video as is, but only recommend it as a caution and with many caveats. And for those who bought it and have no idea how to go about using it or if it is possible to salvage. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. We'll catch you guys later. Please check out the description section below for references and social medias, and we'll catch you guys next time. See you later.